a couple things. We're also going to talk about, and forgive me ahead of time, Megyn Kelly and the fact that she may have just accidentally gotten herself canceled forever and a day. And then don't get mad at me, okay? But I'm going to show you guys a Starbucks cup. Let me just do this real fast and we'll jump into everything else, because we all know Starbucks is, Satan, right? That's what everybody thinks. Starbucks is awful. I had to get the Christmas cup that came out today, all right? Today was the first day. Today is November 13th. Today is the first day of the Christmas cup. And over the past couple years, this little red cup right here has been just strife-inducing. No, that's not the right word. Anger-inducing might be a better word for a lot of people. And I was kind of curious to see if Starbucks this year was going to kind of sort of pull their heads out of their asses when it came to what they did with the coffee cup. I know in the beginning, a lot of people were mad because it kind of went a little LGBTQ one year, right? It was a little pride happy. They took the word Christmas off. They did all these different things to make it look, I guess, non-denominational might be the right thing, or non-Christian at all, even though that's the entire point of Christmas. But for some reason, a lot of people forget what Christmas really is. It's not for the corporations to make a ton of money off of you and for you to go bankrupt trying to buy presents for people who honestly aren't worth half the money you spend on them, let alone the time you spend thinking about them. But instead, people were losing their minds over these Starbucks cups. So I was curious, what was going to happen this year? Now that President Trump is back in office, now that you see all these corporations that are having these oh shit moments, Cracker Barrel being one of them, with the whole trying to change everything, and that did not go over well. I was curious what was going to happen with Starbucks, because today they had a lot of employees that were boycotting because they want to get paid more at Starbucks. So like, our CEO makes this much money, and why don't we get paid more? And it's like, well, you're working at Starbucks. What did you really expect, right? Anyway, so I wanted to see what the cup was going to be. And I want to show it to you guys just so you don't have to go out and do it. This was one of those, I bought it so you don't have to. Remember back in the day, it was I watched it so you didn't have to. I read it so you don't have to. I went to the Starbucks store so you didn't have to. And the first thing I noticed is a female barista handing a cup of coffee to a customer, okay? And then you get over here to the door. It's got the wreath on it. There's nothing Christian here, okay? There's nothing Jesus-based on this cup except for the fact that we automatically put the two together, Christmas and Jesus, right? But you get over here and it's a man and a woman, and I was very happy about that. And then that's it, and it just says cheers. There's no words of holiday, there's nothing of Christmas, there's literally, it's supposed to just look like a winter scene. I don't know how people feel about that, but the red cup took away anything that would be construed as left, in my personal opinion, or Christian, in my personal opinion. So you've got just a plain cup with some lights and some snow and a wreath and some coffee. All right, so now you all know exactly what Starbucks is doing this year. Okay, so let's get into the rest of this stuff, because number one, I love y'all and I love having these conversations. Okay, so Fetterman, let's start with Fetterman. So Fetterman basically fell on his face today, unfortunately, and I know that sounds harmless and it's not meant to, but I don't want to blow it out of proportion like a lot of channels are going to do and have this whole, oh my gosh, John Fetterman rushed to the hospital and blah, blah, blah. Y'all, he's posting that he's okay, everything's fine. He's posted that his face, if you thought his face was ugly before, you're really not going to like it now because he busted it up some, but we're not going to sit here and try to pretend like this was the man on death's door, right? Death's door. We pluralize it. Well, no, because it's a name, so you put the S, like Mike's door. You don't have to say Mike door. There we go. Little English lesson for all of us today. So let me pull up these bookmarks because I want to show you guys exactly what I have here. So Fetterman, where is it? It says here, Eric Daugherty. I don't know if it's the Southern in me that cannot say certain words, but I cannot say this man's last name. Daugherty. If any of y'all want to spell it out hooked on phonics style in the comment section for me, I'd actually really appreciate it, because Daugherty, I don't know how to do this. His name's Eric. We're going to call him Eric B. He posted up, breaking, pray for Senator John Fetterman as he just suffered a fall and was transported to the hospital in Pittsburgh. And according to this is from Fetterman's office. He had a ventricular fibrillation flare-up that led to Senator Fetterman feeling lightheaded, falling to the ground and hitting his face with minor injuries. And then Fetterman said, like I said earlier, if you thought my face looked bad before, wait until you see it now. And they're saying he's doing well and receiving routine observation. And then Eric D says, John is a good man. Hope he makes a full recovery. And for those of you who don't know what Fetterman looks like, that's him. He is a behemoth of a dude. He is a very large man, very tall, got a little Uncle Fester thing happening with the baldness or whatever. But you'll remember that he had a stroke, want to say 2022, but I'm literally pulling that year out of my ass. I don't remember what year it was. I want to say 2022. Could be wrong. I believe it was in May. Could be wrong there too, forgive me. He had a stroke and all the kind of stuff that went on. And then he took himself out of the spotlight for a minute for a little mental health help, right? Would be the right word. And now he's just this dude who was like, listen, technically I'm a Democrat. Technically, he's a Democrat in Pennsylvania, but he sides a lot with Republicans sometimes, and he sides with Democrats sometimes, but mainly Fetterman sides with what's best for the people. Yes, he is labeled a Democrat. Yes, he does not always agree with Republicans or like Republicans or get along nicely with Republicans, but generally speaking, he is for the people over party, right? People over party is what I think he says a lot. But I want you to hear what he had to say with Dana Bash on CNN. Well, number one, we know we don't like her, although it does feel lately like she's trying to kind of muddy the waters between Democrat and Republican and like where she really falls in line. Because you remember during the whole campaign trail, she was basically kissing Kamala's ass all day long and was such a see you next Tuesday to JD Vance and anybody else on the Republican side that she spoke to. But now I feel like she every once in a while plays the left a little bit and is more favorable to the right. And something along those lines. I've seen a couple of her interviews that she's done where it's like, hey, she doesn't sound as, kind of want to punch you in the face-ish as normal. But listen, I want you to listen to Fetterman's words himself. Let's make sure let's get some volume going in this joker. This thing is really long. That's what she said. It's 1:51, so I don't know if we're going to listen to the whole thing, but I do want you to hear what transpired between Fetterman and Dana Bash. This was on, don't remember what day this came out. It's in the last couple of days. I want to say it was yesterday. Maybe it's not yesterday. We're not even going to try to pretend I know what date it was, but I want you guys to take a listen to this. Please hold while I get the little button to work with my sausage fingers. Play, Dana, whatever.
Write about that in your book. You said, quote, I drunk deeply of the venom of both the left and the right. As a connoisseur, I can confirm that the most poisonous, the bitterest, is from the far left.
Yep.
That is pretty remarkable to hear you say that as an elected Democrat. Why?
It's just been my personal experience on this thing. And when I asked my digital team, I said, we're on all the platforms, really what's kind of the harshest, what's kind of the most personal? And the answer was immediate. They said, oh, blue sky, it's blue sky.
Immediate.
And the difference is, the right would say really rough things and names, some names I won't repeat on TV, but the on the left, it was like they want me to die, or that we're cheering for your next stroke, or that's terrible that depression won. Why couldn't the depression won? And I hope your kids find you. They even have like the
Listen, how incredibly fucked up is that you say those kind of things to a person in general. Now, it's always the keyboard warriors, the trolls that are staying in their mama's basement or whatever else. But we know for a fact that the left, generally speaking, are violent, batshit crazy people. They resort to murder. They resort to physical altercations, whether it's punching, hitting with cars, whatever else. They resort to physical violence. I might call you a name. I'm going to mean it if I say it too, but it's going to take a lot for me to lay my hands on somebody in a violent fashion. I'm not saying it's not possible, but it is something that takes a lot because I have more self-control than these Democrats do. But for them to sit there and say these things about John Fetterman and to John Fetterman because he voted with the Republicans to open the government back up, and the Democrats didn't want that because they wanted to use the whole thing for leverage, right? For them to then say these kind of things, that is a mental health issue. in my opinion, if you're a Democrat, it's an entire mental health issue. You have to have something mentally wrong with you to think it's okay to be a Democrat, especially this day and age when there is proof everywhere you look that they lie like the little mofos that they are, right? Anyway, so you have that, okay? Then what's even better is when I was younger, when I used to be a Democrat, y'all know, reformed libtard over here, but once you've seen the light, you cannot go back over there. It is impossible, right? I used to like Katie Couric. Y'all know Katie Couric. I used to like her. I thought she was charming and I thought she was funny and she had a great smile and a great laugh. And I was like, oh, she seems lovely. Like we could hang out and whatever else. And then I realized, oh no. Batshit, like Rosie O'Donnell. No. There is a video where Fetterman was on with Katie Couric. And I want you guys, listen, there's so many little clips that I have of this and I want to get the right one because there's a lot of really good ones. It's like a 4-minute long clip between the two of them, but I want you to hear the one, if I can get this scroll to scroll correctly. Come on, computer. I have way too much saved here because every time I see something, I'm like, ooh, I want to talk about it with y'all because it's either stuff that you haven't seen or maybe you have seen, but I like having these conversations. Thank you, by the way, for letting me have these with you. Okay, so this one, Colin Rugg posted this, okay? And it says, Senator John Fetterman refuses to back down as Katie Couric continuously tries to get him to condemn Charlie Kirk. Couric says, I'm gonna let you listen. I'm gonna let you listen to some of this and then I'll read you some of it if I can't get all of it to play because again, it's a lot. But this was on the same day that he did the interview with Dana Bash, it looks like, because the same hoodie. Maybe I'm wrong, but listen to this.
Do you think that Flag should have been flown at half staff? Do you think his body should have been flown on Air Force Two? Do you think he should have posthumously be given the Presidential Medal of Freedom? I think some people felt that was perhaps over the top in terms of mourning someone like Charlie Kirk.
Excuse me?
How did you feel about that?
I'd say that was his choice and his prerogative, and that was really entirely up to him.
Talking about Trump.
Did you have any issues now in hindsight over some of the things that Charlie Kirk said and some of the rhetoric he used during his life?
I hate that word.
I didn't agree with much of it. I didn't closely follow his specific kinds of views. But I did.
I'm sure you learned about them after his death, though.
No, I haven't done a deep dive on it. We've all seen that terrible video. Perhaps if you've seen the actual video,
yeah.
I have.
Yeah.
And it's like appalling. And that's part of the political violence.
Yep.
And from what I'm saying, it's like that's unacceptable. And engaging in a debate and views I strongly disagree on, that's part of the American democracy. And for me, it's that would never justify what's happened. And I just chose not to take the opportunity to argue his views after children lost his father in the most violent public way. I mean, so that's...
Yep. Listen, we don't need to do more. Katie Couric kept trying to push him to speak negatively about Charlie Kirk. I mean, Fetterman even says that he doesn't agree with a lot of the things that Charlie Kirk was saying, which in and of itself to me is kind of like, how can you not agree with the fact that a man is a man and a woman is a woman and you cannot be the other, or that, marriage is a good thing and that women taking care of the kids is a good thing? Like, I don't understand how you can disagree with those things, but hey, everybody has their own opinions. Some of them are wrong. Ours are right. But Fetterman, he's not going to be tricked into crapping on Charlie Kirk just because that's what the left did at the time of his murder, and since then, Candace Owens and everything that she's still doing and whatever else. However you feel about Candace, there's a lot going on there right now with her and Charlie Kirk and everything else. Anyway, back to where we were. Fetterman, he's like, you're not going to do it. He said, she said, this is what Kirk said. Did you have any issues? Engage in debate, never justify. I think Kirk said, I think some people might say Charlie Kirk's rhetoric was extreme. People think his words lead to violence or led to violence. Fetterman said, I think we agree that we probably didn't agree with much of what he said, but I'm sure we both agree that you shouldn't execute them in public. It is remarkable that we're at this time in our lives, we still have to go, it's not right to murder somebody just because you don't like the things that they are saying, or because the things that they are saying make you look inward and realize how dumb you are, wrong you are, left. And so you murder a man. There's nothing okay about that. But anyway, Fetterman, in all these interviews, whether you like him or not, okay, because let's go with this. Whether you like him or not, he does make sense when he says certain things. Not always, obviously, because he is a Democrat at the end of the day. But when he says that he sees no point in dragging Charlie Kirk's name just because everybody else is, I respect the crap out of that, right? And I think other people will too. But anyway, the reason I was bringing all this up is one, because he did have that fainting spell or fallout today, right after he talked about the left and how they want him dead and whatever else. And I'm like, are you sure it was really the love and triculation, I don't remember the words, that happened, or was it something else? Because he spoke out about Bernie Sanders, he has spoken out about Mamdani, he has spoken out about the left in general, keeping the government closed, which now it's open, but the left is still losing their shit because whatever else. I just thought it was the timing of it, right? Because there's coincidence and there's coincidence, right? And that was more coincidence. Anyway, so let me get back to the other stuff that we were doing so we can have this conversation. So Jasmine Crockett, bless her heart. She's been talking lately about everything, and I don't know why they keep giving this woman the stage, but I don't know if you've ever heard of this guy named Charlemagne the God. We've talked about him before over the past couple years. I call him Charlemagne the Fraud or Charlemagne the Dog because he's absolute trash. But he's got this radio show, podcasty kind of thing, TV show, that he was talking about how the left really needs to pay more attention to Jasmine Crockett because she's so eloquent and she speaks so well and she's so articulate and she is very smart and attractive and all these other things. And I'm like, is there more than one Jasmine Crockett? Because the one that I have seen plays the ghetto card very, very often. I don't know why. She technically is an educated black female, but every once in a while she decides to pull out some ghetto card and try to, this is going to sound some type of way, but black it up. And I don't even know how that works, but she does it all the time. But right now, she actually posted this earlier, and I just want to share this with you. She posted this. It says, "Let me be clear. House Democrats have been the ones pushing to get the Epstein files out. We've been calling for truth and transparency while Republicans drag their feet and play politics. But thanks to House Democrats, the truth's coming out one way or another." Jasmine, honey, boo-boo, I would like to remind you that the entire time that Joe Biden was in office, Democrats weren't trying to get the Epstein files out then. And the only reason the Democrats are trying to get the Epstein files out now is because in the beginning of President Trump's presidency, the right pushed for it. They wanted everything released so that then the left would push for it also. Y'all got played, honey. And the things that are being released are not anything that's earth-shattering or whatever else. Everything's been released so far is pretty much common knowledge, and nothing there is something to make you go, well, I swear, right? Whatever. None of that. But she's a moron, and I just wanted to bring that to your attention because I think people forget how incredibly stupid she is. Hold on, there was more that I wanted to talk to you about. Let's go real quick to Billie Eilish, okay? Whether you know who she is or not, she's actually a very good singer. I liked her better when, let's pull a LeBron, just shut up and dribble. That's what they told LeBron James. You know what, we don't need to hear your voice, just play the game. That's what you're getting paid for, that's what we're here to watch. And I feel the same way about Billie Eilish. I wanted to hear you sing. I don't give a shit about your political thoughts, about your life, about anything else. I just wanted the music. And I know it sounds real hypocritical since I'm out here giving my opinions on everything, but that's what I do. It's not like you came here to watch me sing or cook or whatever else, and instead I give you all this other stuff. No, that's exactly why you're here. You know what you're getting when you show up, right? But Billie Eilish, she posted this thing about Elon Musk, and it says Grammy-winning singer Billie Eilish randomly attacked Elon Musk on Instagram for hoarding his wealth. Her words, hoarding his wealth, and listed examples of ways Elon Musk should give out the money he worked hard for to earn, such as ending world hunger, saving an endangered species, and to rebuild Gaza. And she called him a effing pathetic female cat, female dog, coward. I have no issue with adult language, but I didn't want to string all those words together because I feel like you would be like, oh, Michelle, no, you have gone too far, ma'am. And I don't want to do that. So this is Billie Eilish. In case anybody doesn't know what she looks like, that's her. I have no idea if she's straight, gay, if she knows what she is. It changes all the time. That seems to be the Hollywood way of things. But I was very curious about Billie Eilish, as I like to call her. So I did a little research because it's what I like to do. And I was like, hey, I wonder how much money Billie Eilish is worth, okay? So Billie Eilish, she's estimated between 50 million and 53 million as of 2025, beginning of this year, right? And she's got like a lot of deals that come in. She's got this Apple TV documentary called Billie Eilish, The World's a Little Blurry. Why she has a documentary, I don't know. She's not that important. She's had a couple tours that she's done. She's got some money, honey, okay? So then I was curious. I'm like, okay, well, Billie Eilish, you're worth $50 to $53 million. How much have you given to charity? Well, she's given to charity. She's given 11.5 million to charity, kind of, sort of, technically, because the donations come from proceeds from her tour that she does. Like when people buy the tickets, they go ahead and just take a little portion of that, and then they donate it towards climate and food equity causes or whatever else. So it's not like she's out there writing checks. It's coming from like the ticket sales, which is still, her money. So whatever. So she's given $11.5 million, okay? And I think that's great that she is doing some help or whatever else. Now, for those of you who aren't aware how much money Elon Musk has donated to people in need, and this is only what they can do through the last taxes that were done. 2024 taxes haven't been done, so this is up to 2023, right? And he's given at least $1.2 billion directly to charitable causes and helping people. That does not include Starlink that he sent to North Carolina after Hurricane Helene went through and destroyed everything, and the Democratic government at the time, Joe Biden and Kamala Harris, decided to sit on their thumbs and rotate instead of doing anything to help the people of North Carolina, all because Dougie Emhoff had a little bit of side money action in some lithium mines that happened to be near Asheville, North Carolina. So good timing there. But he's donated at least $1.2 billion up to 2023, okay? And there's way more than that. He donated Starlink in Africa. He donated Starlink in, I think Japan and some other places. He's donated a ton of stuff. And the $1.2 billion that he's donated has been here in the United States of America, not out to other countries, unlike the Democrats who like to take your tax dollars and my tax dollars and donate them to everybody outside of this country and say, fuck them all for the people here in the country who need help, unless, of course, you're an illegal immigrant or whatever else, and then you can have whatever you want, okay? So then I was like, you know what? I saw this picture of Elizabeth Warren and Mamdani, and she was talking about how people need to do more to help, and that's why Mamdani is great, because he's going to help the middle class because they're going to tax the rich. And I was like, bitch, you're the rich. Okay, so Pocahontas is worth $8 million. That's what they said, $8 million. And from the years 2003 to 2023 ending, she has donated $600,000. Ma'am. Don't talk about it, be about it, okay? If you're worth $8 million and you believe that the rich should be taxed the most, well, start paying more taxes. And if you believe, like Billie Eilish does, that the people who have more money should just give it all away to help everybody else, Bernie Sanders says basically the same thing. Why do you still have so much money in your bank account? Why haven't you just given it all out? These are the same people who want open borders and us to give everything to illegal immigrants and non-U.S. citizens, but I bet they lock their doors at night. I bet they lock their cars at a stoplight in Chicago. So just, blatant hypocrisy from the left, which is nothing new. But anyway, that's that. Elizabeth Warren, we just talked about her. Is there anything else? Donated, $600,000, $500,000, up to $600,000. Her philanthropy remains low key, with no major 2024 or 2025 announcements prioritizing public service over splashy gifts, blah, 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 blah. Nothing. So every time these people jump on social media or an interview and they talk about how the rich need to be taxed more, I wonder why they don't include themselves in that. And they talk about how people need to give to the needy, but the needy they are referring to are the people who are batshit trans, who think they need to have the government pay for surgeries, or they're talking about free healthcare for illegals, or they're talking about people in need that probably predominantly live in blue cities, because those seem to be the biggest shitholes in the good old US of A. Why aren't they doing more to help? I'm just curious. If you know an answer, I would love to hear it. I know y'all know a lot. So if you know something that I have missed, please help a sister out and put it in the comments section. Now, we could do a lot more, but I've already been running my mouth for 26 minutes, and I feel like y'all might want to go do something else. Plus, my computer's about to die because I did not charge it ahead of time, because procrastination station is where I've been all day. So we'll do more tomorrow. We haven't done a live stream.
And let's start with a fine example of the modern left. They're privileged, out of touch, hateful, angry lefties. Let's hear from Jimmy Kimmel's wife and show producer, Molly McInerney, whose moral compass is so warped that she needs deprogramming. That's her word, not mine. First, listen to this bit of chutzpah. She seems to think that anyone who votes for Donald Trump is a victim of misinformation.
So there's like a little bit of sympathy I have for people in my family that I feel are kind of being deliberately misinformed every day.
Mm-hmm.
And they've... Yeah. They're deliberately being misinformed every day.
Are they watching your husband's awful program? Because that's where the hysteria, hate and misinformation is happening. You think we forgot about him lying, straight out lying about Charlie Kirk's murder? Let's hear more from Molly and her delusions of grandeur.
My husband is out there fighting this man. And to me, them voting for Trump is them not voting for my husband and me and our family. And I unfortunately have kind of lost relationships with people in my family because of it. Mm-hmm. This is not just Republican versus Democrat for me anymore. Mm-hmm. It is, to me, it's family values. I feel like I'm kind of in constant conflict, and I'm angry all the time, which isn't healthy at all. But I personalize everything now. When I see these terrible stories every day, I'm immediately mad at certain aunts, uncles, cousins who put him in power. And it's really hard. And I wish I could deprogram myself in some way, but I get really angry.
Yeah, I think a deprogramming is a fine idea. Imagine being that lucky and privileged and choosing to be miserable and bitter every day, and nasty too, to your own flesh and blood. Now, here's another foul lefty with pronouns in her bio, naturally, who thinks it's fun to mock Erica Kirk, a grieving widow who lost the love of her life, the father of her 2 young children, in the most tragic circumstances. But for the left, well, it's just a reason to mock her.
All right, Erica, this is your moment. This is your moment to shine. This is your moment to show America how amazing you are. Be the sad, grieving widow that you have always dreamed of. This is my moment. Fox News. My husband. Yes, we should have cameras in the courtroom. My husband was murdered.
These people really are soulless. Now, let's go to another celebrity who really should not speak about politics. Russell Crowe was on Joe Rogan's podcast and was asked about what's happening in Australia. This was his asinine answer, and a warning here. You may lapse into a coma in the next 36 seconds as you listen to this, as Crowe struggles to articulate his love for Australia's radical left Prime Minister.
What is wrong with the way Australia's run?
Well, we're a little bit lucky at the moment. We have a Prime Minister who's very much motivated by trying to help everybody. which should be the job of a politician, right?
Sure.
To improve the lives of the people that they represent. And he's kind of inherited, a conga line of stupidity that was going on, and he's trying to fix things.
Now, the lockdown continues with the media, including ABC's George Stephanopoulos, continuing to blame the Republicans for Schumer's shutdown. Here, Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent takes the Democrat operative to task, and listen to how this interview descends into farce before Scott gets a delicious dig in. Well played, sir.
You were involved in a lot of these in the 90s, and you basically called the Republicans terrorists, and you said that it is not the responsible party that keeps the government closed. And so what we need is 5 brave, moderate Democratic senators to cross the aisle, because right now it is 52 to 3. 5 Democrats can cross the aisle and reopen the government. That's the best way to do it, George.
I can disagree with you about the history there, but we don't need a history lesson right now.
George, let's talk about
what's happening right now.
If you want, I've got all your quotes here. George.
I'm sure you do.
And
let's talk about the situation right now.
Read your book. So you got one purchase on Amazon this week, and that's very much what you said.
The bulk of the media has worked tirelessly to live up to the fake news tag, to live up to the public's worst fears about their lack of accuracy and impartiality, and it's often the ones who bleat loudest about misinformation and disinformation who are most guilty. The leftist activists masquerading as neutral journalists, like the ones working at taxpayer-funded BBC, who have been caught out heavily doctoring a speech by President Trump on January 6, 2020, to make it look like he incited a riot. Let's look at what the BBC played, followed by what he actually said.
We're going to walk down to the Capitol, and I'll be there with you, and we fight. We fight like hell. We're going to walk down to the Capitol, and we're going to cheer on our brave senators and congressmen and women.
Ooh, I like the sinister music they played in that doctored version, just to drive the point home, obviously. So how did that happen? Let's hear from the Telegraph's Gordon Rayner, who explains just how deliberate and dishonest the BBC were in manufacturing this bit of fake news, this rewriting of history.
The BBC spliced together 2 clips that took place 54 minutes apart.
We're going to walk down to the Capitol, and we fight. We fight like hell.
They played that episode a week before the US election, obviously hoping for maximum impact, but they were caught, and for once there were consequences. The BBC's Director General Tim Davie and Head of News Deborah Turness have now been forced to step down. Time to check in with former First Lady, the perpetually miserable Michelle Obama. Here she again reflects on her time at the White House. It was so awful having a glam team making you look your absolute best every single day. What an imposition.
Every day, every time I was up, as we called it. I was up for the public.
Yes.
And the days were long. So as you mentioned, to save time.
Yes.
I know having a glam team, a trifecta, it feels like a luxury, but it was a time necessity.
Yes.
There's absolutely no way that I would be able to do my hair and makeup and have clothes ready that fit. Because where is the woman that can live off the rack?
Yes.
Where is the woman who can live off the rack, Michelle? Are you serious? Try just about every woman. Is Michelle Obama so out of touch that she thinks we're all getting designer gear, custom-made clothing, perfectly tailored to our measurements? She is absolutely kidding herself. Now, get ready, folks. A new gender identity has just dropped. 150 isn't enough. We need more. Let's hear what it means to be sapphic Here is non-binary actor Robin Holdaway and her girlfriend to explain. See if you can understand any of this.
Sapphic, much like any identity term, can mean a lot of different things to different people. Broadly speaking, it means people who are not men, but generally femme in some way, who are also attracted to people who are not men and femme in some way. The idea of this, I think, is to be a little bit broader and more encompassing than some people might feel other labels are. Personally, I think there's space in a lot of labels for this, but for example, it's to encompass people who are attracted to non-binary people who might present in different ways.
Pretty sure we already have terms for all of that, but please do go on and bore us silly with your insufferable self-importance.
Only the thing is that this is actually quite an interesting part of how Sapphic operates as a